Hey y'all, and welcome back to the part 2 video of The Green Man. There's no long-winded intro today. We're just going to get started right into the work. I mean, we all skip the recaps on Netflix, so why should we sit through one here? The clay work is finally done. Every leaf, bird, mushroom, rose, and wrinkle in his barky old face is in place. I just need to let it dry, so I've got him sitting here in front of a fan trying to rush the process. Oh, always running out of time. I feel so rushed. So while we're doing that, we're going to get started on building the shelf for the back. Again, here I'm using my scrap pallet wood, and I want this is going to be like a bifold table so that when I'm parked and I open my doors, I can open this table to the outside. Anyways, I need to tack these boards together. So I'm going to use wedges. All right. Wedges are super cheap and I, for some reason, have a lot of them. So I'm just flipping them around, like putting a thin side with a thick side. So that way they're uniform in shape. And I'm going to glue them together. Then I'm going to cut them to size. And I'm going to use these to tack my boards together. And it works perfectly. I'm going to use my brad nailer down here with some little staples and just glue and tack it right in place. Be prepared. We're doing a lot of scrappy redneck builds today because I'm not a carpenter. So I just know how to build stuff and make it stay together. Okay, is most likely not the correct way, but it will work. Okay, now I've left some space on the end because I'm going to be putting hinges on these boards. It's going to be hinged to the back of my cabinet, and the two sections I made here are going to be hinged together. So that way it folds like an accordion, I guess, accordion style. But then I got to thinking, since I have these boards on the back, okay, there's going to be a gap here. So my hinges are not going to be flush, and I mean, I'm thinking it's not going to fold together correctly, so I found some scrap plywood that's pretty much the same thickness as the wedges I glued together, and I'm just going to cut them to size and put one on each board, and that will work for my hinges. That way there's no gap there, and these two pieces will fold together more flush. Now, I'm going to try to give you a visual here. I'm going to show you on the side of the cabinet, so just pretend this is the back of the cabinet, because the table's going on the back. I just can't get to the back right now because my clay is drying. So basically, it's going to hinge to the side here, okay? I have to do the measurements to see how high up. I'm not quite sure yet. But it's going to hinge there, and then when I'm done with it, it will fold up like this out of the way, okay? Just like that. So, yeah, I'm really proud of myself for thinking of this. And yeah, see? Ta-da! And it just will fold in and out whenever I need it. Okay, the clay is dry, the base coat is done, and now we're going to start layering on some paint. Full disclosure, I am not a painter. So not a painter. I don't follow the rules because I don't even know the rules of painting, okay? I can dry brush. All right. See that? That looks professional. And really all I did was dip my brush in some paint, and then I wiped the paint off on a napkin, and then you just wisp your brush back and forth over the entire project, and all of the raised edges will catch some paint. The key here is simple, okay? Use light pressure and build in layers. You want your brush to be lightly coated in paint. So when you dip it in the paint, wipe it off on a napkin before you put it to your project. You want to do a dark base coat so that when you're building your layers, whatever your brush doesn't touch just looks like shadows. And then you want to start with your neutral tones, and then we'll add in some earthy green tones, and then we'll add in some colors. You can see here I've only added one color here, and it already has so much depth. Okay, you can see the shadows forming, and yeah, I mean, he looks cool like this, but we're gonna go all crazy, and I'm gonna paint this guy for 2 days. Oh, I really did paint this for 2 days. The dry brushing like this really brings out all of the little details. You can see all of the little veins in every leaf. Really, really cool. Okay, so I'm going to show a little bit more of this. I'm going to add some green here just so you can see what it starts looking like when you start adding colors. But the entire thing was painted like this, dry brushing. Literally just dry brushing different colors until it looked right. Okay, and there's no right or wrong way or right or wrong color. It's your project. You paint them whatever color you want. You could make your leaves purple. I mean, whatever makes you happy, right? So I'm just going to show me get this green done, and then an up close of the details from adding the green, and then we're going to just jump right into the finished paint job, okay? Because I don't want to put an hour of me painting here, but look at that. Look how pretty. I could have left it like this and added some gloss, and he would have been beautiful, but I like to have color, so we added a whole bunch of color so that this guy really pops. See that? See how pretty he is? I gave him some sun-kissed golden eyes. I went ahead and painted all of the background like a sky blue. I don't know, I decided that at the last minute. The rest of the cabinet, still green. I don't know, I wanted to add some blue in there, bring in all of the elements. But look at all of the details. And in person, you can really see every layer of color that I added. And I'm very proud of how he turned out. I think he's really beautiful. What do you think? Leave me a comment and let me know, how do you like the Green Man's final transformation? I added some yellow to the top of the leaves because I felt like the sun was up there, and the sun is just kissing down on his head. And yeah, so here he is. And now I'm going to add the handles, and he will be fully functional. Look at that. He is fully operational now. He has a handle for his drawer and a handle for the cabinet door, and he is almost complete. So I'm just going to situate him in the van where his final home is going to be. And I've added the table here to the back. I do need to make a leg. That'll have to be later. But I need to make a leg for my table when I pop it out. And I plan for this to stay here. There's still plenty of room to get in and out. And yeah. And this just folds right up like that. I also need to figure out some kind of latch system. Right now I'm just using a bungee cord, but I'm showing you here how it works. It just folds right up, just like that. But right now I'm just using a bungee cord to hold it up. I got to think of some kind of little hook or something to keep this up when I'm not using it. But there's my little bungee. That's my redneck temporary fix. But it works. It's not pretty, but it works for now. So leave me a comment if you have any ideas, okay? Because I'm not real sure. Now, I did this to my door some time ago, all right? I basically did a decoupage with fabric because the door was ugly. And one day, I just decided to cover it in fabric with glue. And I initially had planned to do all my doors like this. It's a lot easier than trying to cut wood and put it on each door, because if you're not really good at cutting the wood and applying it, it's going to look stupid anyways. This way it looks pretty and it's eclectic and it's fun. Here's what the other door looks like, and so I'll probably just continue that with all 4 of my doors, okay? Now here, you'll see how I put this up a little bit later. This is scrap, like luan, and it was very warped, okay? It was wavy, all right? But it was free, so I put it on the roof, and I put the other panel on the wall over there, and I added spray foam. It didn't matter if it expanded because this luan was super wavy anyways. Okay, this is a trust the process moment. I'm over here in my scrap wood, and I got like 6 of these panels here. Okay, they're little strips of wood, and they interlock together, but they're warped, and they've got spray foam all over them, and they don't lock together anymore. And even if they did lock together, where I want to put these in the van is you just can't. I want them to be curved, okay? So I'm gonna get wild here. I'm gonna use this landscape fabric, all right? And I'm gonna use some PVA glue. I'm gonna water it down a little bit so that it will saturate the fabric more. And I'm going to fold this landscape fabric up to where it's like 3 layers laying on the back of this wood, okay? I'm gonna cover the wood in the glue. I'm gonna lay my fabric down, and then I'm gonna saturate the fabric in glue, and I'm gonna let it dry. And the idea here is to fuse these 3 boards together so that they stay together and they can bend and curve without falling. Okay, it just will be easier for me to put it up. And here I am letting it dry. It actually worked quite well. The boards are holding together. I can bend and curve them, and they stay in place. Now I'm just going to trim the edges off. I'm showing you here, it kind of feels like plaster when it's dry, okay? Keep in mind that my wall panel and ceiling panel is warped, so it's real curvy. So when I put these up, it's going to be kind of curvy too. But this panel is not structural. I mean, none of the wall panels I put up are structural. You can see the curve there. This is all going to be covered, okay? This is just a base layer, so I have something to stick to and glue to. And I'm just going to do the other 3 pieces I have for this curve after I find some scrap luan for this section of wall. I'm still scouting for that. But this is just a base. It will be covered up. You won't see the ugly, wonky looking stuff. Now, I wasn't going to include this part, mostly because it was frustrating, it was slow, and it didn't feel very inspiring at the time, but maybe that's exactly why it matters. This is me trying to install a warped sheet of luan by myself into the ceiling of my van. It wasn't heavy, it was just awkward. It was very stubborn. It was very warpy and did not want to go into place. And honestly, I really wanted to give up more than once. Would this have been easier with 2 people? Definitely. But sometimes you don't have extra hands, and you don't have help right when you need it. And you're left standing there, tired and overwhelmed, wondering if the thing you're trying to do is even worth it. But here's what I've learned: if something feels impossible, pause, take a breath, have a snack, watch the birds, feel the breeze come through the open doors, and then get back to it. Because most of the time, the difference between done and undone isn't skill, it's persistence. And eventually, I got the job done. Not because I had the tools or the experience or the upper body strength of a professional builder, but because I didn't quit. And that's what matters. If there's something you've been wanting to try, some project or idea that feels way out of your skill set, I hope this gives you the push to just go for it. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need fancy tools or a background in building or painting or any of it. You just need to decide that you're going to try it. That's it. One choice, one step. And yeah, you'll mess things up. I definitely did. And I definitely do every day. but you'll also learn and grow, and you'll surprise yourself. So if you've got a vision, big or small, don't wait until you feel ready, because you're never going to feel ready. Just start. Thank you so much for watching and spending this time with me. If this project inspired you, or even just made you smile, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a little note below. I'd love to hear what you're working on. Until next time, keep making, keep dreaming, and don't be afraid to build the thing you thought you couldn't. Have a great day.